All right, Mr. Chair, I am launching it live on YouTube. It's done now, so we are live. You can take it away.
I'd like to call this meeting of Planning Board for February 8th at 7 p.m. Would you call the roll of attendees?
Leo Pisano,
Yeah.
Michael O'Connor,
Yeah.
George D'Angelo, he is not here. Cheyenne Rangel, she is not here. Chairman Cafaso,
Here.
James Tarr,
Here.
and Phil Mastrocola. Phil is here.
Here I am.
Okay. We have a quorum. Would you read the disclaimer, please, Mr. Planning Board
You got it.
Department?
In response to Governor Baker's declaration of a public health emergency and the related emergency executive order dated March 12, 2020, the Everett Planning Board shall be meeting remotely until further notice. The audio conferencing application, Zoom, will be used for this purpose. An online link and telephone access number will be provided on all meeting agendas and also on the city's website. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the city's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. This application will permit the public to access and participate in future board meetings and hearings. Instructions for joining meetings in this manner will be provided on the city and city clerk's websites. We extend our thanks for your understanding and participation in this matter, which is intended to keep members of the board and the public safe.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
May we have the first order of business, please?
Yep.
Okay.
Our first order of business, under old business, this is a site plan review for 2nd and Vine Street. This is a proposal to demolish the existing structures on the premises located at 12 and 24 Vine Street and 337-349 2nd Street, Everett, Mass, to construct a new 6-story building with 320 residential units, of which 16 units are proposed to be affordable with approximately 4,000 square feet of ground floor retail space along with a parking garage. The premises is bounded by 2nd Street, Boston Street, Vine Street, and 3rd Street, and is designated by the Assessor's Department as parcel numbers K0-000067, K05-000068, and K05-000176, and is located in the Commercial Triangle Economic Development District. This matter was continued from October 13th, 2020.
Thank you. The proponents here?
We are here. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I think you all know I'm Johanna Schneider. I'm the project attorney here on behalf of 2nd and Vine LLC. I'm joined on Zoom tonight by the project developer, John Block, Tamara Roy from Stantec, Steve Moderano from Bowler, and Sean Kelly from VHB, and also Shauna Gillies-Smith from Ground. The last time we were before the board was January 11th, at which time we gave the board our first full formal presentation of our proposed 320 unit residential project at 2nd Vine and Boston Street. Unfortunately, following our presentation, we learned that there had been some issues with members of the board accessing our application materials in advance of the hearing. So we continued the hearing to tonight to provide the board with the opportunity to review our plans. For tonight, we can quickly go through the presentation again, or if the board prefers, we can jump right into answering questions. Either way, we do at some point before we're done tonight, want to give the board an update on where we are with our peer reviews as well. So I leave it to the board as to whether you'd like us to quickly go through the presentation or if you want to just launch into questions, which we're happy to answer.
It's a pleasure of the board, please.
They gave us actually 2 presentations, so I think we've kind of got through that okay. I mean, I think maybe just questions and answers tonight until we can get a package from them and review it. So,
Excuse me, Leo, can I interrupt for 1 second?
sure.
I just wanted to note for Matt for the minutes that Cheyenne just jumped on for this presentation. In case you didn't see her on the Zoom.
And given that, I guess one of the alternate members should probably be designated by you, Mr. Chairman.
We'll take James Tarr for no better reason, but We need a fifth one. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we open for questions? Matt, Mr. Chairman?
I asked for the pleasure of the board and you said you wanted questions. Do we have a second?
Make a
Second
motion?
motion.
There we go.
Do we need a roll call vote?
What is what are you moving on?
Moving on just to dispense with hearing their presentation or just going on question and answers?
I don't think you need a motion for that. I think you can just do that as the chair.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Leo, you're on board.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I only have a few questions. And they're more than questions, they're just observation. You go down that area down there, if you're on Boston Street, and you're gonna take a right-hand turn on the 2nd Street. That's a very tight turn down there. Not so much for a car, but from the tractor trailer trucks coming out of Restaurant Depot. And I noticed the same thing if I'm coming off of 2nd Street and I want to take a right-hand turn on Vine Street. Again, another tight intersection, another tight turn. And that's, again, not so much for the cars, but for the tractor trailer trucks down there. So in reviewing your Civil 301, you just might want to take a look at opening up that corners a little bit. Go down there someday, watch the trailer trucks take the right-hand turn on the 2nd Street, and you can see how they'll climb over the sidewalk and whatever. Again, just a point of observation. One other thing, in reading your traffic study, figure 1 of your site location and also your study map, page 30, allude to the fact that there is no traffic lights at Vale and the Parkway that are signalized, and they are. So just to let you know, I mean, I forget, maybe you had 4 intersections that had signals on them, and that was omitted twice. So there are signals at Vale and Revere Beach Parkway, if I'm not mistaken. So just something to look into. Other than that, not much. I went through the whole thing and looks fine, and I guess we'll pick it up when we get your package. So I'm all set for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joanne.
Any other members of the board who have questions for us?
Nope, I'm good.
President, question asker. Hearing none?
If we could just then briefly, Sean Kelly from VHB, our traffic consultant, is here. And I know that he touched base with the city's traffic peer reviewers this afternoon. So I thought it might be helpful for him to just give a 2-minute overview of where we are in that process.
Sure. Thanks, Joe. And again, Sean Kelly with Vanessa Associates. On behalf of the team, thank you again for having us tonight. So since we last met, we have had a meeting with the city. We had a meeting with Jay Monty, and we reviewed some of the measures that we're proposing as part of the project in terms of mitigation, both the land dedication on 2nd Street rather, for the future Silver Line route, and then also some of the TDM measures. The city has adopted a new TDM ordinance. We went through what's going to be required of the applicant moving forward in terms of the analyses and the commitments financially as part of that incorporation to that ordinance. We have sent the report out to peer review. I did speak with Jay today. He expects that it wasn't going to be done for tonight, but it will be done in advance of the next meeting, and we hope to get it in time to address any comments that are outstanding on it. So, we have met with the city. We're moving forward in terms of preparing the TDM plan, and we're waiting for comments back from your consultant at this point.
And Steve, can I ask you to give a similarly brief overview of where we are with Civil, and Julio or Tamara, if you have those slides about the process handy, that would be great to bring those up now too.
Yeah, do you want to start with those slides, or you want me to just talk about the conversations with DPW.
I think you should go first, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So we've been talking with the city engineer, Julius. We had a call also with the DPW director. And then today we got on a call as well with Julius and the peer reviewer from Ty and Bond, just to understand where, what additional materials the peer reviewer is asking for. That typically there's some items that we would provide as part of the stormwater permit. And the request is to bring some of those forward as part of the site plan review. So just wanted to get some clarity on what would be helpful relative to additional stormwater calculations, some sewer calculations, and some water calculations as well. So getting a little more in depth than we had over the past few projects that you've seen us come forward with in the last year or so. So just, I think we came to some understandings today of what they're looking for. And we have some calculations that we'll be providing over the upcoming weeks in response to those comments. Really just additional sewer capacity and drainage calculations to back up the designs that are on the drawings that you're seeing today. So we don't expect any changes as a result of those calculations, but really just providing a lot of the technical detail in the really the nuts and bolts that, like I said, just typically came at stormwater permit. We've been asked to provide those now. So that's where we are with the peer review relative to civil, site, and utilities.
Yeah, and I would just point out, and I think the reason that we're trying to flag this is it's taking a little bit longer on the stormwater piece than we had expected, in part because the stormwater reviewer is asking for information that exceeds what we've been asked to do on project recently, pending before this board. Tamara, can you use the slide so that we can give some frame of reference?
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
We see the site plan.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I
There's
actually
also an echo.
that everyone will mute their microphones except for tomorrow because I'm hearing a lot of echoing.
Thank you. How's that?
Much better.
Oh, much better. Great. Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to take everyone back to like 2018 when Stantec was hired by the mayor and the planning staff to try to streamline and reorganize the way that the whole site plan review submittal worked. Because if you recall, I mean, back then, the zoning commission was seeing all the drawings before planning, and they were asking for very, tight engineered drawings, that were sort of more like the design development of the project rather than schematics, which is where we are now. And so we did do this reorganization, which is part of your design guidelines now, which basically asks developers and their teams to provide a 20% design set, right? Which just says it'll identify areas, conceptual organizations, et cetera. And we followed up with just, some design principles about stormwater management, which is on page 16. About this. And when we permitted Garvey Street, if you recall, that's what we did. We just really did a 20% set and, and didn't need to do all these engineering calculations and such. So I guess the struggle for us right now and the challenge is being asked to do all of these things up front, because if in the end, the developer ends up basically having to buy these services twice because they're having to do all the engineering now, when really, it's going to be way later in the process when we have our site design complete enough that they should really be doing all those calculations. So we just wanted to jump in, and I'll stop sharing now and just say that if there's some way that the overall goal of that really was to try to streamline the design review process for you all so that it didn't have to get into the weeds this early. So just so you're aware, and, because you'll end up having this happen now on projects as they go forward because of the requests of the peer reviewer that you happen to be using, I guess, and other reasons, I guess. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thanks for your time.
questions?
I guess the only other question I might have is, do you have a AUL on this project? Is there a recorded AUL on the project?
There's a recorded AUL on a portion of the project, and very soon there will be an AUL that covers the entirety of the project, which goes to our obligation for our IZ special permit. It does permit under the ordinance for us to have a 5% inclusionary. And so
Right.
because there will be this AUL in the entirety of the site, we would qualify for that.
Yeah, because I'd like to get that out of the way now that you do have a full AUL, so we, 5%, okay.
Joanna, can you just make sure to provide the city with notice when the AUL is recorded?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. But I think when we've done this in the past, Robin, we had it as a condition in the board's decision that to the
Yeah,
extent it was,
I
to
think
the
it's
extent it wasn't done, it was to be recorded and evidence furnished to the city.
Yeah, I mean, when do you anticipate it going on?
John, do you know the timing of the full AUL?
I'm not sure. I'll find out.
Okay.
I think it was going to be in the coming months. I don't know if that process was going to line up perfectly with this process, but I will find out.
Yeah, I think it should be on before the IZ is voted on, but we can always talk about it further if there's an issue.
Silence is deafening.
It's a little awkward, isn't it?
A little. I think that was part of Pulp Fiction there when they were sitting there, silence. Yes. Somebody say something.
Well, I think that's all we have, at least from our side. Right,
We
team?
have nothing else.
No, I think we're kind of all set till we get that package. So are we looking for a continuance?
Yes, I believe that we are.
Okay,
I will entertain a motion for continuance for this
You know,
project.
make a motion for continuance to February 22nd. Is that going to be our next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll make a motion for continuance for site plan review for 2nd and Vine Street until February 22nd at 7 o'clock on Zoom.
Second the motion.
Made and seconded for continuance for this project until February 22nd at 7 o'clock via Zoom. Roll call vote, please.
Yep. Leo Pizzana,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rangel,
Yes.
James Tar,
Yes.
and Chairman Cafaso.
Yes, it has been continued. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
you too.
Go.
Thank you.
Next order of business, please.
So order of business, Mr. Chairman, is item number 2. This is a site plan review for 48 Nickel Street. This is a proposal for a redevelopment, including the demolition of an existing single-family house and the construction of a new 3-story, 6-unit residential building located at 48 Nickel Street, that being a parcel of land referenced by Assessor's Department as M0-08-000178. This matter was continued from November 10th, 2020.
Thank you. Is the proponent here?
I do not see him.
How would the board like to proceed?
Well, just to make a motion for continuance then until when? I don't know if you want to just leave it open, Matt, or you want to go for the 22nd again?
He's given me no, I reached out to him over the weekend. I reached out to him this morning. I didn't receive anything back. There was a guess that this could be due to the snowstorm in his profession. So, you know, we can't really predict what the weather is going to be before the 22nd, but I would say that given that you're not requesting a whole lot from him to present to the board, he should be ready for the 22nd.
Yeah, a lot of the things that came up on the, from the building inspector doesn't relate to us at all.
No.
No. So, okay, so now I'll make a motion for continuance for site plan review for 48 Nickel Street until February 22nd at 7 o'clock via Zoom.
Second motion.
Motion has been made and seconded for continuance for 48 Nickel Street until February 22nd, 7 PM via Zoom. Get a roll call vote, please.
Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rangle,
Yes.
James Tar,
Yes.
and Chairman Cafaso.
Yes, motion has been continued. Next order, please.
Mr. Chairman, the next order of business is old business. Number 3, it's an ordinance amendment, resident stickers. This is to amend section 18-149, the citywide resident sticker regulations, and section 18-150, applying for a resident sticker of the revised ordinances of the city of Everett to revise the eligibility for parking stickers for new large residential developments. This matter was referred to the planning board for recommendation by the Traffic Commission and the Everett City Council. This matter was continued from January 25th, 2021.
Thank you.
I think at the last meeting, we did vote on one item, but the outstanding item was to be left open until the Traffic Commission had their next meeting and discussed it there. And then it will get back to us or the city on that, or to Jay.
Yep.
Correct?
That's correct, Leo. So yeah, we're not going for a vote tonight. If you don't want to, we'll wait till the Traffic Commission weighs in and then we'll come back.
Yep, that'd be fine.
Okay, thanks.
We have a motion, please.
Make a motion for continuance for the ordinance amendment, resident stickers to February 22nd at 7 o'clock on Zoom.
Second motion.
Motion has been made and seconded to continue resident sticker until February 22nd, 7 PM via Zoom. Roll call vote, please.
Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rangle,
Yes.
James Tar,
Yes.
and Chairman Cafaso.
Yes, motion is continued. Next order.
So order of business, Mr. Chairman, is item number 4 under old business. This is a site plan review and special permit for 141-151 Bow Street. This is a proposal to convert a portion of an existing structure into 6 residential apartment units. The property at 141-151 Bow Street, Everett, Mass. is a parcel located in the Lower Broadway multifamily residential district that is currently occupied by 2 industrial buildings. The applicant, DAG Realty Trust, proposes to convert the second floor of the existing structure located at 151 Bow Street, containing 5,625 square feet, from a vacant space into 6 residential apartments. The 6 units will be comprised of 4 2-bedroom and 2 1-bedroom units, and the interior of the building will be completely renovated as part of the proposal. The premises is approximately 57,425 square feet and is currently home to 4 commercial tenants. Is designated as assessor's parcel number H0-04-000046. This matter was continued from January 11th, 2021. And Mr. Chair, I can tell you, I spoke with one of the attorneys who is representing this applicant. Apparently, when he had come on to the project, he came on late. He had a meeting with the architect. They didn't see, I guess, eye to eye on how to move forward. That said, they finally did come to an agreement that they would kind of resubmit what they had originally submitted in terms of the architecture of the building. They did request one more continuance until the 22nd, and the applicant, or the attorney representing the applicant, said that by the end of this week, they should have all the materials ready and distributed.
Thank you. So what's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion for continuance, site plan review and special permit, 141-151 Bow Street to February 22nd at 7 o'clock via Zoom.
Second motion.
Motion has been made and seconded to continue 141-151 Bow Street, February 22nd, 7 PM via Zoom. Roll call vote, please.
Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rangle,
Yes.
James Tar,
Yes.
and Chairman Cafaso.
Yes, motion has carried. Next order.
The next and final order of business, Mr. Chairman, is item number 1 under new business. This is a minor modification to 85 Boston Street. The applicant here proposes to amend conditions of a site plan review approval to ensure consistency between written conditions and the approved redesign of the project as approved under minor modification by the planning board on August 2020.
The proponent here is,
Yes, Tammy Cobson from Greystar.
you explain what you'd like to do, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to just clarify through proposed edits of the conditions of approval. And we wanted to make sure that the language was really consistent with the approved project design. The conditions were actually originally written in response to the previous design scheme and not necessarily outdated with our current design and the stormwater approvals under the minor modification which we received in August of 2020. So we just wanted to clarify and make sure that everything was reflective of that.
Does this mean that this project is going to finally start?
It is most definitely going to start.
Okay, do we have?
We can get everything cleared up. Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll be 4 years or so. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Now,
I myself have been working on it only for one of those years, but yeah.
yeah, okay. I mean, so this will probably coincide with the project at the Stop and Shop.
I think it will be just before, we'll start before them.
Okay, but I mean, they're
Yeah.
both going to run almost a 2-year project each, 18 months. So again, interfacing the two projects on Vale Street, keeping that open up for traffic, keeping it open for pedestrians.
Mhm.
Again, we hop on it all the time. Just want to make sure that everybody understands 3 massive projects and even a 4th, because there's another one going on Vale Street, going to be going on all at once, and all the people coming out of the Pioneer project trying to get up Vale Street to the Silver Line, they're going to need access. So we keep saying it, and I'm glad we do, because then the applicants are all aware of what's going on. So if everybody's in agreement, we'll go from there. I read all the stuff that came in the other day on the language, the way we talked about it from the beginning. Like I say, again, it's been a lot of years. I think clarifying it up to the redesign, as far as the planning board is concerned, it seems to be okay with me. As far as the stormwater management, that goes back to the city. Sections 28 and 29, with the planning board, we really don't review that too much anymore at all. That goes back to the city engineers. And that particular project, I don't know if anybody was on board, Steve, I think, were you on with that from the beginning? With those Cultex, and we spent a year on that project. I mean, and that's because for no other reason than I'm not gonna say we're novice at it by no stretch, but that was very complicated what was going on down there, and to fully understand it took a long time. So if all that we talked about way back when is going into this project the way we talked about it, it's fine with me, but I didn't see any changes, Steve, put it that way. So
If I could, I'll just say that the design did evolve over the years, but we do have an approved stormwater permit that was approved by the DPW. So
okay,
the design has changed, but we did what made sense under today's conditions, and we did just get that approval in the last couple of months. So pretty recent approval, and that's some of the edits you see there is just to match what we agreed to with the DPW.
yeah.
And Leo, to address what you're talking about there's obviously, as part of our construction planning and part of our permit approval, we have to submit a construction plan. And so that will just take into account how we make sure, pedestrians can cross from the Pioneer, and how this will be a functioning and safe space while we do construction.
Yeah, your site utilization plan will cover
Yep.
all that. Right, exactly. And just to pick your brain, Steve, and maybe to refresh us a little bit, or put it in perspective, all the new culverts, all the new infrastructure that was put in down on Locust Street to the to pick up Stop and Shop, pick up whatever, and dump out to wherever it dumps out to, whatever head wall it's going out of. That all done?
So I probably should have said I'm Steve Materano from Bowler, just for the record. I forgot to say that to start. No, I jumped right in. I was excited to talk about it.
I jumped up. Go ahead.
So there's a couple of things that are scheduled for the spring relative to drainage, and I've been talking, that's part of the conversations I've been having with Jerry, the DPW director, as well as the city engineer, Julius, is there's 2 spring projects planned that should help this area greatly on the drainage side. One is DOT is putting a large drain underneath their train tracks. Over the years, they shrank basically the outlet leaving this whole area. And so as they start to mitigate from what's been done historically, they're putting another outlet pipe, a large culvert that they're going to jack underneath the railroad tracks to get another outlet from this area to the river. That's probably the biggest impact that you're going to see to this area. And they're also putting, I think also this spring or early summer, is a tide gate on the Spring Street system. Apparently the tide gate's been broken, so it lets a lot of that tide water at high tide come back into the system, which clearly compromises the capacity of the drain pipes because they're full of backed up ocean water. So a couple big moves that the city is doing on top of all the projects that continue to put the on-site systems in for treatment as well as for detention. So it's not a one-stop fix for the commercial triangle here. So there's a bunch of different efforts between the private projects and the public, DPW, and they're coordinating with Chelsea as well for some other things. So a lot of improvements have been done, but there's a lot of really big sort of municipal infrastructure projects that should be even better benefits than what an individual site can do. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Having none, any other questions? Anybody out there in Zoom land?
Matt, did you have staff comments or review on this? Have they all been addressed?
Yep.
I know Jay had comments earlier, but I didn't know if those had been addressed.
Yeah, so I spoke with Jay. I also spoke with Julius, our city engineer. Julius said that the red line texts were all acceptable to him. He then, I think, speaking with Steve Materano and a few other people, I know he had a call today, but also in an email said that there's additional stuff needed for I&I, but that isn't concerned here. And then as for Jay, I did speak with him. Is he still on this call? No, he's not.
You said you can text him if you need him to come back, though.
No, it's all right. His 2 questions pertained to specific conditions, and I actually spoke with the attorney representing Anthony Rossi to clarify some of these things. He had questioned why in condition 18 that area or that section was crossed out, and the explanation I was given was that Chelsea had already taken care of the collapsed lines in that area, and therefore no additional work would have to be done there. So that's why it was taken out. And then the same would ring true for condition 23, that area or that section that was taken out was again due to the fact that Chelsea had already done their part. And Jay was satisfied with that. Jay did ask though, which even though this may not pertain to the site plan acceptance for the minor modification, you may have done this already, but in case you hadn't, or even if you did and we just can't find it right now, if you could please provide a profile and cross-section of the roadway.
Yeah, and Steve can speak to that. I think we have provided that.
Yeah, I think we have a cross-section or we have a couple of cross-sections in the drawing, and really the cross-sections were because we did change the approach to Vale Street. The original approval had an elevated sidewalk, so a wall at the back of the bike lane, and then the sidewalk was up high. We've changed it where we brought the sidewalk down to street grade. So It did change that cross-section. I think they were mixing terms between profiles and cross-section, but it was really intended to show that cross-section of how Vale Street gets developed. We think this works much better, which is why we did it this way, because then you have all those activities. They're going to feel like a regular street. You don't have that separation with the wall and the elevated sidewalk. So we brought those retail entrances down to street grade, and it's just going to feel like a more typical streetscape. So those sections are in the site plan package that should be part of the record for site plan review. Happy to provide more if it's helpful, but those should be in the drawings.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The street elevations on
Just
there,
to
too.
clarify, those are already approved?
Correct.
Correct.
Just given just some of the complications at the city at the moment, if you wouldn't mind shooting Jay even a digital copy just so he has it, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Then the chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion for favorable action for minor modifications for 85 Boston Street.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded for minor modification for 85 Boston Street. Roll call vote, please.
Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rangle,
Yes.
James Tar,
Yes.
and Chairman Cafaso.
Yes, motion has passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You.
Any other orders of business, Mr. Planner?
No, sir. I have nothing else here.
Then the chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn this evening's meeting. Roll call vote, please.
Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rangle,
Yes.
James Tar,
Yes.
and Chairman Cafaso.
We have to, yes.
What do we do with the rest of the night now?
I know, quick one.
I could do my work.
Thank you all.
All right, good night all.
Thank you.
Good night.